By now, we're well aware of coronavirus, and while we don't know everything there is to know about the virus, we do know a little bit about how it can spread. The most common way is contaminated surfaces, a phone, a counter somewhere, and we also know that if someone with the virus were to cough on or near you, you could be contaminated. What we also know is that masks are not particularly the most effective way to defend yourself, as the particles associated with the virus can easily get around one of these. So, what can we do? It turns out that washing your hands is the most effective way to protect yourself from any type of virus, and it also turns out there's a high chance that you've been doing it wrong. Now let's go over a few myths. Myth number 1. Do I have to turn my water all the way to the hottest temperature, burn my hands, because that's the most effective way? The CDC says no. Any temperature that you feel good with that isn't gonna burn your hands is absolutely fine as long as you wash your hands. Myth number 2. Do I have to use antibacterial soap? Is that better? No, the CDC also says this is untrue. Plain, regular old soap works just fine. Now, we are ready to finally wash our hands. It's time to apply that soap and water to our hands. Lather up really good and efficiently, and there's 3 main areas you want to focus on. You want to focus on the backs of your hands. You want to go in between those fingers, and you want to go underneath those nails. That is the best way. Absolutely be thorough, lather it up, go through backs of hands, in between those fingers and underneath those nails for 20 seconds. Now, I know that seems like a long time. You can sing Happy Birthday twice or whatever song you're into, but 20 seconds is the suggested amount of time to get all these germs taken care of. Now, once it's time to rinse and dry, you really want to be thorough with that too. These germs have a way less chance of spreading in dry hands than on wet hands. The last question is when. Now, the obvious one is when you leave the bathroom. We know that. But you also, anytime you prep or touch food, you want to wash your hands and go through this process again. Anytime you touch some garbage, wash your hands and go through the process again. And anytime you cough or sneeze, you got to go through the steps again. That is the best way to ward off these germs. But what if you can't get to a sink physically to wash your hands? Your next best option is this right here. I'm sure some of you, and hopefully most of you, have some hand sanitizer nearby. First thing you want to do though is jump on the back. It needs to be at least 60% alcohol. This one is 63, so I'm good to go. So I can go ahead and just do it? No. Actually, you really need to check your hands. You want to make sure there's no dirt, there's no oil, there's no debris. If there is, the CDC highly suggests you really need to use soap and water. But if your hands are generally clean, you're gonna go ahead and put a dime-size amount on your palm like this. You wanna go through your fingers, use your knuckles, go through those nails, and you don't wanna wipe off or get rid of any excess because it's basically counterproductive, and those are the germs you're trying to avoid in the first place. While the overall best way to protect yourself from viruses like flu or coronavirus is to simply wash your hands, there is actually a correct way to sneeze and cough that'll help prevent the spreading of any further germs. When you grab a tissue after you use it, don't crumple it up and leave it at a coworker's desk. You're gonna use the tissue, cover your nose and mouth, sneeze into it, immediately throw it in the garbage. If you don't have a tissue, it's not ideal, but you're gonna sneeze into your upper arm, sneeze into your elbow, kind of like a little Dracula move. Cover your nose and mouth when you do so. Don't sneeze or cough directly into your hands. And it really is as simple as that. I know it sounds simple because it is simple. The CDC has been driving home these principles for a long time now. That's the better way to help prevent and protect yourself from the spreading of viruses like flu or coronavirus.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.